The Flume water sensor is not just for leaks. When you strap it on the inbound pipe of water to your house, it does two other things for you that I'm gonna show you. It's marketed as leak detection only, which I think is a giant bummer, because by strapping this little guy onto your inbound water pipe, you get so much more data. The sensor talks to this little tower that stays plugged in, and that's literally the whole installation. The other data you get is it simply sends you push notifications when water's running. So it doesn't even have to be a leak. That's the main thing, is we have a very active garden. It's springtime here. We've got just splitters and hoses running everywhere. We have rainwater capture that's running to its own irrigation. My son's out here playing around and he turns the water on and off. And so knowing that the app is just there to send you a push notification if any water is ever left on, like just the other day, we were out at the store and we were able to text someone at home to be able to say, hey, like, could you go outside and check to make sure the hose is off, because it looks like it's been running for 15 minutes. And so that turned, 100 gallon of like water running somewhere where we didn't want it, or it turned it into 100 gallons of water running somewhere we didn't want it, instead of 500 or 1,000 gallons of it just running and running and running for an hour until we get home. So that's what it does. And then the second thing it does is it gives you overall usage. So it splits up the amount of water that you use inside the house and the amount of water you use outside the house. So again, I'm a little over the top, and like we're doing the rainwater capture and stuff, and so I'm very like hyper aware to kind of how many gallons the garden is using, and it helps put it in context for how much the inside of the house is using. But whether you have a garden or not, it's not just for leak detection. And so I think marketing it as only about kind of like saving your interior walls is missing this whole other segment of people that are very interested in kind of like smart home data and knowing how much of external resources their house is using. So if you're interested in that, I've made this other video about kind of just rainwater capture and comparing it to solar, and how knowing how much resources you're pulling from the grid and how much resources you're creating on site and mixing it with these like smart home data gadgets kind of gives you more insight into, what your home's doing. So watch that one next.